host, Big Vinny V.
Show with Craig, November 6, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. Retro Raw, Nitro, 19 years ago this week, most hated day of the week. These fucking shows.
They sucked.
Dude. This Nitro show, I swear to God, may have been the worst wrestling show I've ever seen in my life. And actually, there may be worse to come. I've forgotten. There was a Nitro, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago that I was sure was the worst show I'd ever seen. And then there was this one, and you probably get more. It's horrible.
I don't know if I can make it.
And dude, let me tell you something. That Raw show, in some ways, Raw was worse than Nitro. Because Raw was so profoundly boring. But Nitro was not boring. But it was the worst wrestling show I've ever seen in my life. I guess I can't say that because it wasn't boring. I guess we have to see the show that we saw tonight for Nitro also boring. To actually be the worst professional wrestling show of all time. I can't even conceive of it. It's hard to have a boring show when you have 10,000 segments in one show.
When I loaded up the Nitro on the network, when you're online, there's the bar that shows how far along you are in the show, and there's a little dot at the beginning and end of every match. It was like a machine gun that hit my screen. Just
it's madness.
There was a time where I wanted to watch all the old Raws, for nostalgia reasons. So I looked forward to Raw kind of every week until it started getting really bad. And now I find myself looking forward to Nitro the same way when you drive a freeway and you see a horrible accident and you slow down to rubberneck and look.
I understand what
so you're hoping
saying.
you see Vince Russo dead, is what you're saying.
Oh, Vinny, that's terrible.
That's what Craig said.
What I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to say is, I can tolerate like the first 30 minutes of Nitro every week. Because no matter how horrible it is, like, I tolerate it for about 30 minutes. This show's 3 hours long.
It sure fucking is.
I mean, dude.
And it feels like twice as long.
I've never, not one time in my life have I ever listened to Vince Russo's podcast. But if this fucking guy tries to defend this show, I may have to listen. I just can't fathom anybody defending this show. It's impossible. Like, listen, there are old shows we do on this site that I can look back and go, that was a horrible show that we did.
Horrible audio.
Like, the first 5 years, every show was awful. I'm not going to defend any of them, okay? They're fucking terrible. People go, oh, the good old days of 2006. I'm like, those shows were terrible. They were wretched. They were horrible. There's no way that this guy can look back at this show and with a straight face say that this was not one of the worst professional wrestling shows of all time. It's impossible.
If we don't start, we'll never finish.
Before we start, I hear that Rob made an appearance on Peach Machine's podcast. Is that right?
This is correct.
Yeah, this was not authorized, Rob. What are you thinking?
And?
I heard this guy said terrible things about me.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
You know if that's true, I'm going to take it out on you.
He was a very gracious host.
Oh, get out of here, gracious host. I'm going to break his... You heard me.
Raw.
It's Raw style heat right there.
WWF Monday Night Raw 337, November 8th, 1999. We got to blow through these shows because we'll be here for 4 hours if we don't.
Well, the Raw one will be quick. Right. This is easy. I wrote almost nothing about this show except boring, bad, boring, bullshit.
Should we just skip Raw and do Nitro?
Nah, let's get it over with.
Austin's doing a promo. He's upset Vince hit him with a belt on SmackDown. Vince comes out. There are microphone issues. Austin takes the mic, tosses it 50 yards up the aisle. To which Vince screams, "That was a $10,000 microphone!"
Oh man, wrong show to make that claim. Less than $500.
It's Sennheiser, it's about 6.
It depends on the brand, Craig. I'll bet you that was less
He
than
insists
$500.
hitting Austin was an accident.
It was the 90s anyway.
Vince insists hitting Austin with the belt on SmackDown was an accident. To prove it was an accident, he makes himself ref at Survivor Series.
Yes.
What? I cannot connect these dots.
It's a dumb show.
What does one have to do with the other?
Nothing.
Rock is out. He says Vince is lying. There's more microphone issues. Vince says, "Oh, you hit Austin with a hammer. Was that an accident too?" Hunter comes out and they all jibber jabber for a while, and nothing happened.
No, they just announced that Hunter is walking out of the Survivor Series as champion. Which, by the way, is apparently next week.
Yeah,
this coming Sunday.
This is the go-home show.
Yeah, this is a go-home
Did
show.
you know that Kurt Angle's wrestling on Sunday?
I did not.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job building up that match with Sean Stasiak.
I forgot until you mentioned it right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you who are not around or do not recall, Al Snow's toy came with head, the mannequin head.
Yes.
And some people who do not follow wrestling saw this toy and believe that Al Snow is playing a murderer who decapitated his victim and carried the head around.
Yeah.
So his toy got pulled from Walmart or whatever.
Yes.
So the New Age Outlaws and Mankind and Al Snow will discuss this for a while. This led to the New Age Outlaws versus Al Snow and Mankind with the Job and Sock connection defending the World Tag Team titles.
This was another one of those SmackDown title changes.
I will get to this. We'll talk about the match first. But yes, I had no idea Al and Mick were the tag team champions, and then 5 minutes later they were not.
Well, they told us when the match started that they won them on SmackDown. They at least alerted us to that. But I don't know who they won them from. I can't remember who the champions were prior to this.
Holly.
Didn't the Hollies lose it to somebody?
See, nobody knows.
Well, see, I will
This
discuss
is the sign of a bad television show.
I will get details on all of this. Well, the match is the Outlaws won here, they're the new tag champs, right? Vince said anyone who interferes, it'll be their ass. So there you go.
Twice he said, to make sure that he reiterated, their ass.
Yes. Val attacks Mankind. This distracted Al Snow, and Billy hit Al with a chair and pinned him.
This is like a no DQ match or something, because this all happened right in front of the referee.
I don't know. So, in 1999, this is, thankfully, the 15th and final time these tag team titles change hands.
Wow.
It is the 10th title change in the last 4 months.
Wow.
The longest reign of these tag team titles in 1999, a whopping 64 days by
Not bad, actually.
Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart.
How about that?
So since March, they've changed at least every 2 months. Usually much more frequent.
Can we talk about how Al Snow got hit in what they claim was the back of the head? Luckily, it turned out it was just his back.
They corrected themselves in the replay.
Yeah, but they didn't get it. The camera missed it.
Mm-hmm. What?
They missed the chair shot. They missed the chair shot leading to the finish. We had to see a replay like 5 minutes later.
I see, yes. Okay. Yeah.
I had to quit on the spot.
I had... So DX is celebrating with the belts backstage. X-Pac brags he's going to beat up The Rock. And Hunter talks about Vince's comment about how it'll be their ass, and he moons the camera.
Hunter is the World Wrestling Federation champion, and he just showed his bare ass on television.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bad show.
Kelly interviews the Job and Sock connection. Al apologizes for losing, but says his mind is elsewhere. Foley says, no, it's my fault. I was not where I should have been. Al said his mother is very upset about this whole toy situation.
This Snow promo, I didn't write it down, but it was the most unfunny promo of the year. Until I think another one that he did later in the show might have been more unfunny, but he concludes, and I quote, "This is terrible. This can't get any worse." Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
Val Venus versus The Godfather. So The Godfather offers the women to Val and tells him, I'm not making any of this up. These girls will toss your salad. They will pack your fudge. They will smoke your fatty and call you daddy.
That's what he said.
This all made TV.
Mm-hmm.
Val takes the women, but it's a swerve. Of course it's a swerve. It's Val Venus. Like, he's never had a woman before. So, as they're fighting, it occurs to me, Survivor Series is Sunday, and they've announced exactly one match. At least it's the main event, but...
Which they haven't even done a very good job announcing, by the way.
No, but I am aware there's a triple threat for the title in the main event, so it's the good bully for them. Mankind attacks Val for the DQ. Michael Hayes interviews Steph, Test, Shane, and a wooden mannequin dressed as Linda McMahon.
You know what's funny is, like, she had more life here than she does later on.
She might.
I don't know what happened. Like, she was horrible here. It was totally wooden.
Look at their faces. They're so much in love.
Yeah, but, like, watch her in a year. Somehow she gets worse.
I guess I'll have to.
Maybe they send her to NXT. It's possible. They had to teach her how to cut promos.
She's a McMahon.
What's your point?
It's all Vince. There's only one person in any given family who can have charisma, and Vince got it all.
That's not necessarily
Might
true.
not like him, but Shane and Stephanie also have charisma.
Brian Christopher.
Vince's kids. That's a good point. That's a good one. Anyway, it's all Vince. Vince has all. Test lies and says he is marrying the greatest family in the world. Lillian announces to the crowd the Big Show's father has lost his valiant battle with cancer.
Then she says, private services this weekend. Later on this week.
Yep.
She was struggling to get this out.
I can imagine their head.
Probably realizing how absolutely stupid this
Yes.
thing was.
So you want me to announce this guy's dead when he's not actually dead?
No, he is dead.
Well, he's been dead for a long time.
He'd been dead for a while, yes.
And then she requested that everybody in the audience stand up
For a 10
show
minute
of reverence. He's never been on the wrestling show.
No.
Okay.
But he's man's father.
So the boss man interrupts the 10 bell salute.
May I?
I also wrote this down.
Boss man comes out to read a poem. And it's funny because as I was reading the poem, I realized I've written this before. I must have also written it for Figure 4 Weekly 19 years ago this week. With deepest regrets and tears that are soaked, I am sorry to hear your dad finally. He lived a full life on his own terms. Soon he'll be buried and eaten by worms. But if I can have a son as stupid as you, I'd wish for cancer so I would die too. So be brave and be strong. Get your life on track. Because the old bastard's dead. And he ain't never coming back. That was literally like something from the Granny Show. That was like something you would have read on Facebook.
You all have my permission to read this at my funeral. I laughed. I'm a horrible person.
Well, it's fake, Vinny.
Cancer's not fake.
Well, no,
This
but I mean,
cancer was.
this is a fake death and a fake eulogy for a guy that fake died.
That's true. A Kurt Angle video where he talked about his 3 eyes and did not talk about wrestling meat at Survivor Series.
By the way, Big Boss Man, after reading that poem, made sure to add, and that's exactly how I feel about the Big Show's daddy being dead. In case you were confused why you read that poem.
I mean, he's just joking.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian and the Headbangers versus the Mean Street Posse.
And the Bulldog.
And the British Bulldog.
Excuse me, can we just read that one more time for the listeners at home?
I'll say it again.
The second team.
Edge and Christian and the Headbangers.
Edge and Christian and the Headbangers.
As a team, all
Okay.
4 of them, against the British Bulldog and the Mean Street Posse.
That's just the craziest match I've ever heard
It's
of.
up there. It's up there. After all these years, the Bulldog finally got his European title. That made me laugh. So my question...
When the hell did he win it, by the way?
I don't know, but he came out with it.
I thought he was given it.
He may have been. I don't care.
Like, it doesn't matter.
They basically created it
doesn't
for him. He didn't get it, but he's got it now. So my question going into this is Thrasher or the Headbangers better or worse than the Mean Street Posse? I did not get a definitive answer on this.
Well, it depends on the posse member.
All right.
I mean, they're all different levels of bad.
Who's the worst?
Well, Joey Abs is supposed to be the worker, but he's pretty bad.
He's pretty horrible.
And Pete Gas got a funny name, but he's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I mean that in the nicest way possible. Friendly guy. And Rodney Leinhardt is right in the middle. Like, he should be worse, but he's almost as good as the guy who's a real wrestler.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's
Exactly.
And Thrasher is a real wrestler.
Kinda.
So this match went a minute, and the Headbanger slammed Christian on top of Rodney and pinned him. The Mans and DX yelled at each other for a while. They were in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, the home of Penn State. So Jericho goes to Beaver Stadium, which is the name of the building.
No. Even I know that's appalling.
Says it's named after a filthy, disgusting woman. China should surrender the title when they meet at a Survivor Series. So there's 2 matches I know now. The one good thing on this show, X-Pac and The Rock. Like, this is how to do a 4-minute TV match.
Yeah, but you know what? I hate to say it. When you do a show with so much bullshit and nothing happen in matches that go like 30 seconds, The Rock and X-Pac come out for 4 minutes, and I'm like, can you end this already? You know what I'm saying? I should never think that. But they condition you that a long match is boring. Even when it's a good match, it feels like it should be boring because it's going on so long.
And this wasn't a long match.
It was 4 minutes.
4 minutes is an eternity on this show.
That's true.
So people were totally in the finish as Rock made his comeback. Kicked out of a chair shot. People went just nuts for that. And X-Pac hits the Bronco Buster, but as he turns to crotch top, he turns around and Rock is back on his feet. He went for the X Factor, Rock and the Rock Bottom for the win. Rock won, everybody, in case you're wondering. So this is awesome.
Yeah, they might be wondering because a couple of weeks ago, X-Pac pinned The Rock clean in the middle with a kick.
So
You remember that?
I know
I do.
it's Raw 99.
They were doing some match, and X-Pac kicked The Rock, and he covered and pinned him.
Yeah. So DX attacks. Vince says this is between him and Hunter.
Oh, their ass.
Books Hunter in a title match against Test, which literally makes me laugh until Vince announces the guest referee is Shane. The timekeeper is Vince. If DX comes within 50 feet of the ring, Vince will stop the match, take the title from Hunter, give it a test. Hunter is now pissed, and then Rock recovers, and he hits a rock bottom and hits a people's elbow, and everyone is happy. I thought this was a tremendous segment.
You ever notice the way they do these shows back then is Hunter is a heel, and at the end of the show, he's going to be victorious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's 2 hours of Hunter getting heat on everybody and then getting heat at the end. Hunter is humiliated, and he's beaten up, and he's made to look a fool through the entire show, and at the very end, he just gets one over on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they do it. They've completely forgotten this formula.
Of course, yes.
Now, if you're a heel, it's just constant, unending heat, and every now and then, the babyface will get something, and then you beat up the babyface, and it's another 3 months of constant, unending heat.
Yes.
This fucking Raw last night. It's gonna take forever for me to get over that show. 3 hours of Raw. How many minutes is that? 180 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. There's 2 babyface wins on the entire show. One of them is Apollo Crews over Jinder. That doesn't even count.
No.
Okay, so of things that matter, there's one babyface win on a 3-hour show. And the entire rest of the show is heat, humiliate, make fun of guy's woman's dead father, heat, make fun of Roman Reigns having leukemia, heat, stuff Kurt Angle's takedowns, humiliate him, beat him with his own move. Talk about how he should retire. That was Raw.
Vinny, they also had a women's tag match that went through not 1, but 2 commercial breaks.
And then at the end, you know what the finish was? After 17 minutes,
It's a long match.
somebody broke Jim the Anvil Neidhart's sunglasses that he'd given to Natty.
That she debuted this week.
And she dropped to her knees and began to cry, and everyone just went to the back. They didn't even ring
Really
the
bad show
fucking
last
bell.
night.
That's tremendous.
So, and Nitro was still worse than that show last
I
night.
guarantee you that
This show was better than that night, than that Raw last night.
Fuck.
China comes out for a promo. She's talking about Jericho, warning him, don't see me as just a woman. When out comes Stevie Richards dressed as Elvis Presley.
Painfully unfunny.
Why?
I don't know.
They weren't in Memphis.
No, they were in Pennsylvania.
This was dumb.
Oh, what famous Pennsylvanian is he gonna? George Washington?
Yeah. Why not George? Powdered wig.
They're close to Jersey. Get it on Bon Jovi.
It sucked.
So he sings a song about bringing home the bacon, frying it up in the pan. She's the 9th wonder of the world. She'll never let you forget you're a man.
A lot of poetry on this show.
Jericho comes out and attacks China and Stevie. And there's a big pull apart. This feud is bizarre.
It sucks.
Another word for it. The acolytes are at the bar. They're appalled at Jericho's behavior. See that little Canadian bastard, they call him, doesn't know how to treat a lady. At which point a woman arrives and attempts to seduce them both, which they appear to be down with.
Exceedingly perky.
And he poured a storm.
I guess so. Al is, he's backstage. He says he's not a murderer. His family argues with him on this point. Says at Walmart you can't buy his doll, but you can buy a shotgun and ammo. Foley arrives with gifts.
He's not wrong.
I've actually forgotten this whole thing. I'm just reading my notes here.
Mick shows up and gives Al head.
CD, yeah,
They do head jokes.
That was the big joke, yes.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
Big Boss Man versus Kane.
Big Boss Man versus Kane?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many random matches on this show.
That's
Why
what
is
they
the
do.
Big Boss Man facing Kane?
I don't know.
And you'll never guess. There's a disqualification.
Prince Albert attacks Kane for the DQ.
This is terrible professional wrestling. Match went like a minute, like all the other matches on the show.
There's no point talking about them. At the bar, a guy tells the acolytes to get her hands off his woman. They say she was happy to be there, and she was. They offer to buy the guy and his gal both beers. The guy rudely says no. DX is a huddle backstage.
Hunter's still fuming.
Too Cool versus the Hollies.
Hey, they're too cool this week.
Too Cool this week.
Scotty debuted the Worm.
He did the worm last week.
He did.
Nobody gave a shit.
No.
Boring chants.
Their promo was so cringe.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna get crunk on these mofos.
Well, it's designed to be, Vinny.
Not like this.
Nah, it was designed to be.
Frickety fracker wannabes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you think they were trying? You think they thought that was going to get over as cool?
I think they thought it would be entertaining,
But they do get over as cool eventually.
And they do get over as entertaining.
but not.
Well, you got to start somewhere, Vinny.
So at the Survivor Series, it's announced these teams will be teaming.
But teams are teaming?
Yes.
Oh, these two teams.
Yes.
Okay.
But tonight they're fighting
Oh.
because Raw sucks. Announcers can't remember Scotty's name. Nobody cares about the match. Crash tries to get a scale into the ring. He gets drop kicked, but then Bob pins Scotty with a Falcon Arrow. Back at the bar, the guys laugh at two.
Why do you try to get that damn scale in the ring, by the way?
I assume he's gonna hit somebody with it. Was his plan?
A scale?
I think
It's twice the size of him.
he was putting it on the apron so they would get whipped into the scale.
Dumb.
The bar guys laugh at Too Cool for being a joke, and then they say they're a joke like you acolytes. You're just a couple of fake wrestlers.
I laughed so hard at this segment because I can't remember the scene, the exact scene in The Big Lebowski, but I think it's when Jesus is in the bowling alley and he cuts some promo and Walter just stares a hole in him. Farouk and Bradshaw are called fake wrestlers, and Farouk starts laughing, and Bradshaw plays Walter.
Yes.
He's not laughing at all. He stares a hole in these two men. Not even a hint of a grin. These men are gonna die.
Conveniently, he waited until after the break.
They go to break, they come back, the acolytes destroy these guys.
These bar fights, man.
Hey, this APA bar stuff, awesome.
If you are
A rare great thing on this show that holds up well.
I think in 2018 this will still be true. If you were asked to be an extra at an APA bar fight, decline.
Decline.
They'll kill you.
Yes.
They destroy these men, and then they left with a woman, I guess, to go tag team her. I can
There's
only
a lot of that on this show.
I gotta do the one bridge.
I can only assume. Test versus Hunter with Vince as timekeeper as Shane and Shane as ref. Shane is fast counting Hunter. Shane is punching Hunter in the face.
I was so mad.
But when he drops to count 1, 2, if Hunter kicks out, he won't count 3.
Yeah.
And there was one point when he counted so fast, he did count 3, but it was an accident, so it didn't count. Fuck you.
This was appalling. I ranted for years about this in the newsletter, which means, by the way, this ain't ending anytime soon.
No.
This heel ref stuff, or I guess it's a babyface ref being a heel ref.
In this case, yes.
Think about this. Vince is out there ringside. He punches Triple H in the face.
Yeah.
But he won't just ring the damn bell when Test has him in a hole.
No. Vince hits Hunter with the belt. They put Test on top. Shane counts 2. Hunter kicks out. Shane won't count 3 still.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Why doesn't Vince just count? He runs the show. This is terrible.
So Test hits his big top rope elbow. And now he's finally, I guess, going to get a 3 count from Shane. But on the Titantron, Road Dogg is there cutting a promo, and the camera cuts into a room where apparently Billy and X-Pac are molesting Steph.
They never showed who it was. It was a woman from the waist down.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a skirt.
Kicking and screaming.
Yep, panties out.
Yep.
I doubt it was actually Stephanie.
They left this show on a cliffhanger. The cliffhanger was rape.
Yes.
It actually was.
And literally, when they see that, Shane, Vince, and Test rush backstage.
As you would.
Shane is the referee. He rushes backstage. Hunter commands the ring announcer to announce that they have been counted out.
So Hunter won. Hey, listen, you're talking about shitty finishes. We'll get to Nitro.
Vinny, hold on a second. The referee fled the ring. How is there a count out?
While the ref got
There's
kicked out.
one man that can count them out. Hold on a second. When Hunter went down and Shane was outside the ring, Vince, he had to get Shane back in the ring because only the referee can count a pin. The only man, Vinny, that can count these men out is the referee who fled the ring.
It's a horrible finish, Brian.
Everything about this was horrible. Everything about it. Everything about this match was horrible. I hated this match more than I hated Nitro.
This one match, I will allow that.
And now we have to tune in Thursday to see if Stephanie got raped or not.
My guess is no.
Yeah, probably not.
They've often said they don't do rape, so I assume no.
Jeez.
They have said that about me.
They have. Doesn't mean it.
We're gonna need to wait for the music. I just go and move on.
Nope. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when I finish this, I get done.
I gotta hear these finishes.
There's not that many of them. The finishes on this show were pin after interference in a chair shot, DQ due to run-in, clean pin, DQ due to run-in, clean pin, count out due to sexual assault.
Yep. That's what happened.
You almost made Rob spit liquid all over that.
All right, let's begin the worst goddamn Nitro I've seen this week.
So a few things first off. There is some good news.
What?
They had already put into motion plans to cut to 2 hours.
That is outstanding news.
It
That will
begins-
change my life. I'm not exaggerating.
I will, mine as well.
Yeah.
It begins in January. We only have 7 weeks left of 3-hour Nitros for the rest
Of our lives.
of our lives.
Actually,
Because I'm not watching Nitro a third time.
the last Nitro of the year is a rerun show.
The year in review show.
6 weeks left. And then we never have to watch another 3-hour Nitro again. This makes me so happy. The rest of the show.
The happiest ends now.
Oh no, it started out well.
Monday Nitro number 216, also November 8th, 1999. Sid bullies a production geek. When I give you the cue, you play this video.
Yes.
And the guy briefly protests, but Sid intimidates him, and the guy agrees. Sid comes out for a promo on The Outsiders and says, quote, I'm not as dumb as I look.
Yep.
I figured out why he won worst on promos.
Oh,
That line right there.
He says, you want to battle wits with Sid Vicious Outsiders? Well, then you lose. You lose that battle. Because you got to remember, I have the brain of a psychopath.
That's what he said. Then he just moved on to Goldberg. He gave the cue. So this is Sid's plan.
Yeah.
Last week, Sid claimed he had video proof saying Goldberg had submitted in their match at Halloween Havoc.
And he should be the champion.
He should be the champion. So he shows a clip. The clip is Sid's on his knees. Goldberg picks him up by the head, and he's got him by the head. He's about to punch him or whatever. And he turns to the ref and says something. And at this point, Sid says, I quit.
Yeah.
Into the mic.
Into the mic. In the building.
Yes.
Happened again. I quit. Then he says, there you go, proof. At this point, Tony Schiavone, lead play-by-play man, says, I don't know about that. Did that sound like Goldberg's voice to you?
He probably was not paying attention.
At this point, I wrote down, my intelligence is so insulted, if only I knew what was to come.
By the way, they've actually got Bobby in a suit this week.
Oh, he was also in a suit.
I mean, it was supposed to be stupid, Vinny. That was the point.
Tony's supposed to be stupid too?
Well, you know.
So, to recap,
Yeah, please.
there's a bunch of U.S. champions, right?
Who is the U.S. champion at this point?
Technically, at this point, it's Brett.
Okay.
Brett beat Goldberg.
Okay.
Brett considers that an invalid win.
Yes.
So he thinks Goldberg is champ.
Yes.
Sid thinks he never lost the belt to Goldberg because Goldberg quit. So Sid thinks he is champ. Hall pinned Sid last week. Hall thinks he is champ.
Right.
That about covers it, I think.
But it's actually the belt's actually moved on twice since then.
No.
Goldberg.
No,
From
Greg.
Goldberg, yes.
This was the same thing we talked about last week. Everybody was taking the belt from each other, but there had been no title changes.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett is the U.S. champion. So the outsiders are out there. Scott Hall says the click lays down for nobody as he's standing next to the guy in the finger poke of doom. They say, oh, this is Brett's fault. Brett comes out, calls them 3 big pussies.
That's what he said. Laughed.
He says, Goldberg should be the champ. He's walking fine this week, by the way. He was on crutches last week. This week he's fine and wrestling and
These
everything.
wrestlers heal faster than normal men.
I guess so. So Brett and Goldberg hit the ring. The outsiders vanish. They beat up Sid. This is still going. This is all one segment.
Yep.
Goldberg challenges Sid to an I Quit match. His music starts. He just keeps on talking.
Hall challenges Brett. Let's not forget that one.
He did? I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, Hall challenged Brett.
Okay.
Then the brawl broke out. Goldberg then showed up. Then Goldberg cuts the promo, wants an I Quit match, which nobody cares about.
No.
He wants to know if Sid has the balls. Sid says, I have the balls if you have the balls. And then Goldberg challenges Hall and Nash to hide and seek.
That's what he said, yeah.
You hide, I'll seek and destroy.
Yeah.
Somehow he pulled that off.
He's Goldberg.
I don't know how.
He's Goldberg.
That was the opening segment. It went for fucking ever. I'm pretty sure it was the longest segment in the history of Vince Russo Nitros.
It may have been,
Because every
actually.
segment after this was
2 minutes tops.
with 30 seconds.
Often less than that. They showed the brackets very quickly. Mike Tenay interviews Sting. Sting says he wants explanations from Lex. Threatens to hit him with a bat. Lex and Elizabeth sneak into the building. Lex is in disguise. He's got his hoodie pulled low. He's got sunglasses on. Earlier today, Kimberly Page is shown arriving at the building.
Stop right there.
I wish I could.
I was so furious on this fucking show over this storyline.
It's awful.
So, last week, for those of you that don't remember, David Flair is walking through a parking garage, and he gets run the fuck over by a car.
Yeah.
Kimberly Page got in a car and she tried to kill David Flair.
Yes.
She tried to run him down and end his life in a vehicle.
And then got out of the car so we could all see it was her driving.
Yep.
Yeah.
He flips over the hood. He goes flying. I thought the guy was dead. Kimberly's driving. She shows no remorse.
No.
This was premeditated.
Sure.
Okay. This week, this woman shows up and says, Doug, I need your help. This lunatic David Flair has been calling me all week.
Probably trying to exchange insurance information.
Please, Craig. She ran him over in a fucking car. He called her a few times. Doug Dillinger takes one look at her breasts,
Yes.
says, we need extra security for Kimberly here tonight. And the show goes on. She is now a victim. Being stalked by, like, I don't want to jump forward here, okay? But who is the baby face and who's the heel here?
Dude, there are no baby faces on the show.
It's not even shades of gray.
No, everyone sucks.
She tried to kill him. Now he's going after her, but she's sympathetic.
I guess.
And then later she sets him up, and now she's like devilish.
I guess.
Sure.
I don't know.
Who writes this shit?
An idiot.
This
Vince
is
Russo.
A known
horrible.
idiot. By the way, Dillinger says, I'll get you security, and then 3 hours later, there's 7,000 security guys on the show. None of them go to Kimberly.
Right.
That's the first job I'd volunteer for.
Apparently they were busy with Nash and Hall. They needed security.
The outsiders say
I don't know why.
The outsiders say they need security too. Nash says, I got my manager's license. He starts to read it, and they cut away. Oh, this Filthy Animals promo.
These catchphrases.
Conan talks about how they're in heat, and then I think after he was done, he puts in like fake buck teeth.
Yes.
He's walking around the background with fake buck teeth sticking out.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Ray, for the second week in a row, threatens to hump you like the dogs that we are.
This time he did say that we are.
Yes, he did say that.
He's not a dog humper. Now he's a humping dog.
So, well, anyway.
Dogs will hump, Vinny. There is a big difference.
That is true. That is true. So, out come their opponents, the Revolution. There's Asia in her red bondage gear, and Dean Malenko, who looks more like a dorky dad every single week.
Especially standing next to her.
Yeah, exactly. She looks like a supervillain. She looks like Doctor Doom with boobs and prettier face. And Dean's out there in his waist-high jeans and his plaid button-up shirt. My shirt's much cooler than Dean's, if you're wondering. It's tucked into his jeans. He looks like a man who would use the word nifty a lot, non-ironically.
Sure.
So this leads to being Dean and Asia versus Ray and Tori tonight.
Yeah, that's what Dean wants. And Ray accepts.
Yeah.
By the way, at the moment, Tori is out there
Oh my gosh.
in a very, very tight gown and high heels. That's what she's wearing for this particular
This
segment.
was a tight
in mind.
skirt and a bikini top.
It was, yeah, they're open back, too.
Oh my goodness.
Second round World Championship Tournament match, Screamin' Norman Smiley versus Kidman. Norman comes out in a full hockey uniform, including pads. He just had skates on and kicked him in the face.
And he had the helmet on as well.
Had the helmet on at first, got knocked out. So he gets knocked outside. Brian Knobs is on commentary, attacks him with a stick.
There was lots of ass slapping in this match.
A lot of Norman's lewd dance, as you always called it back in the day.
Yeah, the
Big
big
wiggle.
wiggle. I refuse to refer to it as the big wiggle, but now I do. By the way, in the middle of this match randomly, the announcers alert us tonight there will be a Texas Tornado ladder match with a special guest referee.
Yes.
What?
For the U.S. title.
All right.
For the U.S. title.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
That'll solve that problem.
So Knobs destroys the hockey stick over Norman. Kidman throws Norman in the ring and pins him at 2:12.
Wow, that's a long one.
And then it's to the back.
Of course it is. I swear to God, 4 different 5-second segments in a row.
Yeah. Sting is hunting for Lex. Lex is hiding in the laundry room. David Flair arrives with a crowbar. Nash puts on the Grand Wizard of Wrestling hat.
Yes.
For those of you who are not historians, frankly, I don't know very much about him, but Grand Wizard in this case is only a clan reference. There was a Grand Wizard of Wrestling in New York in the late 70s. Ernie Roth.
Early 70s, yes.
Very much not a clan member.
Yes.
So this is who Nash is imitating here. I've never actually seen, I don't think, a Grand Wizard promo. Was his voice in real life as annoying as Nash's?
No, Nash is doing a parody of a parody.
Okay. So as he puts the wizard hat on, Scott Hall says, You're like a cartoon character. No kidding. A SWAT team casually passes by down the hallway, and Hall goes to harass them. Sting comes out for a promo. He demands Lex. He says, Lex, get on out here. We can do this nice and easy, or we can do this nice and rough. So Sting and Lex are apparently much closer than I ever realized.
Wow.
Liz comes out instead. So remember the big C on the ramp that everyone trips over?
Yes.
They said, well, we'll cover it in carpet, and no one will trip on it anymore.
I had a theory on that. I think the girls, they wear those stiletto heels.
Probably.
They get stuck in there, so they just throw a carpet over it.
Well, Liz still tripped anyway.
It's true.
So at first I thought the C was gone, but it's back later. They just put it out for here. So Liz almost falls on her ass coming out.
She says, the package treasures your friendship. He would not do anything to jeopardize that. Sting starts to molest her.
He puts his arm around her and manhandles her.
Yeah, and she's looking very uncomfortable.
Yes,
This would not fly in 2018.
No, this is inappropriate behavior for sure.
It sure was.
Yeah. He says, you need to get Lex out here immediately. She doesn't, but Lex comes out anyway. Lex takes forever to say, we've been friends for 14 years, we can work this out, we can mend
This surprises you? Have you not been watching the 80s Lex Luger promos?
Fair point.
Thank you.
Lex wants a hug. Eventually Sting handles him back to the corner and says, quote, if you ever swerve me again, I'll get ya.
I'll get ya.
I'm gonna tear your throat out next time.
You should have used that line more often. That could have been on a shirt.
I'm gonna get ya.
I'll get ya.
I'm pretty sure he does, actually,
Yeah.
as these shows go on.
I remember this vividly, and it could not have just been from this promo.
Yeah.
There's no way I could remember anything from the show without copious notes.
Kimberly walks into her locker room, the hottest woman in the world.
She ever.
And then some moron 2 seconds in turns the lights out. It's David, of course. I think David was a little bit better of an actor than Linda McMahon.
But no. No.
Kimberly, he says. Do you remember me? Don't worry. You won't feel a thing.
He threatened either her life or her vagina.
Certainly her safety.
Let me just. Yes, Craig?
You feel a thing, and you thought he was referencing her vagina?
Or her life.
It's not Ric
or
Flair.
both.
You won't feel a thing?
Hey,
Again,
listen.
it's not Ric Flair.
Yeah, it's David.
So he's... Never mind, go ahead.
Now listen.
Why do you think he lives in the woods now?
They do this segment where the lights go out. David Flair threatens her.
Yes.
Says you won't feel a thing.
She screams.
She screams. They cut back to Tony Schiavone and he goes, let me tell you about Surge.
Yes. He looks at the
You think
monitor.
I'm kidding?
No, I don't.
He
Saw my phone.
blew this off like it was just the dumbest thing he'd ever seen.
Kimberly's got herself into a mess tonight. Something like that.
Yeah.
Get this new Surge with Goldberg on it. Surge!
And Bobby's so concerned he steals the Surge. They're doing Surge comedy. She's about to have a crowbar. God only knows what he's going to do with it.
She won't feel it, though.
Second round tournament match, Chris Benoit versus Medusa.
Excuse
Yes,
me, Chris Benoit versus Medusa.
Yeah.
This was, I had so many. First off, Chris Benoit versus any woman,
Yeah.
very, very difficult to watch.
No good.
Sure.
No good.
With that said, the way he did the match, he barely laid a hand on her.
Yes.
He hit her with one chop after a while.
Yes.
He out-wrestles her for a little while. He begs her to just lay down. She finally boots him, starts kicking the hell out of him, gives him a Hurricane Rana, gives her a chop. She goes down. He's begging the ref to just stop the match. He doesn't want to lay another hand on her. This idiot Evan Courageous runs down. Evan Courageous says, "Ref, you've got to stop this match." The ref says, "Get the hell out of here." Evan Courageous and the referee get in a fist fight.
Yes, they come to blows.
All right, to me, this is disqualification.
I would think
Sure.
Not to this ref.
No.
They get a
To be
goddamn
fair,
fight.
he was winning.
Jeff
The
Jarrett.
ref beat up Evan.
Jeff Jarrett runs down. As soon as Jeff lays a hand on Benoit, well, that's a DQ.
Yeah.
So,
Don't even. You're all
no, I must talk about this. They're having a world title tournament with what they claimed was 32 men. I gotta go back just a little while to explain this to everybody. They wanted Medusa to do a bra and panties match or an evening gown match or some stupid match. She refused. So they punished her by putting her in the tournament with Meng.
Yeah.
Okay. Evan Courageous ran out. Clearly, Evan and Medusa have something going on.
Sure.
So to punish her further, they put her back in the tournament against Evan Courageous. She beats Evan via lip lock. Then they put her in the tournament with Chris Benoit, clearly still attempting to punish her.
Mhm.
Well, then the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett, comes out, and he screws her out of the tournament.
That's a detail I missed.
The chosen one of the writers
Yes.
screwed her out of the tournament that the writers had spent weeks putting her back in to screw her.
Maybe they were satisfied with the beating she took here. The one chop.
The one chop.
This is the dumbest thing. Like, I remembered that Medusa, like, was somehow put in the tournament twice. I didn't even remember all of these little details. It's 1,000 times dumber than I thought.
Yes. It constantly violates. The show constantly violates its own internal logic. It contradicts itself over and over again.
Not to mention, she was put in with Meng, Evan, and Benoit as punishment. Why would they send Jeff Jarrett out to save her from Benoit?
I don't know, Brian. I don't have
It
an
makes
answer.
no sense.
I hate this show.
It's terrible.
I hate it.
It's terrible. So Jarrett gets a promo about how this is not the WWF because you must say their name every show. We do not hit women here, and I screwed her out of the tournament, he says. Chavo Guerrero meets with Vince Russo, whose new gimmick, or he tells him his new gimmick is going to be to go sell Amway. So this is now, we reached the era, I think this is the first time, really, where it became a regular thing, where the promoters and writers of the show became the stars, and the wrestlers became geeks.
No shit.
Yep. Yeah. Mayhem match of the week is the Cat blowing out his knee last week and losing to Lash LaRue.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Duggan is now cleaning toilets. He cuts a promo on the toilet. It was kind of funny, I guess. Rick Steiner versus Disco Inferno for the TV title. Tony Mamaluke comes out with a bucket.
Now Tony Marinara.
Now Tony Marinara. Vince was Italian, right? I assume.
I guess.
Even his own ethnicity, everyone has to be a stereotype. Tony Marinara.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did they make him Chavo Burrito in the last segment?
Well, he's about to be Lieutenant Loco.
I guess so. Oh my gosh, that's coming up.
So
Dude, there's a lot coming up in a year.
Yes.
So
It's impossible to believe.
Tony Marinara says he wants his money from Disco. I've known him since me and Glenn were kids, he says.
Yep. This is where I wrote, this show is dying a brutal death. Steiner hits him with a bucket of cement.
What?
Yeah, so there was a bucket of cement out there.
A bucket full of cement.
Yes, because Tony Marinara
Right.
is going to put the cement boots on Disco Inferno and toss him into the lake.
Right.
Okay, so he's got the bucket of cement.
Right.
Because I guess he's going to do it here on Nitro.
I suppose.
He hits him with the bucket instead. Steiner Germans the guy and pins him.
Right.
In like 10 seconds. 30? How long?
I don't know.
It didn't go a minute.
I didn't time this one.
Horrible.
This is the best guy they could get for a stereotypic Italian guy who is a mobster.
Yeah.
See what?
He's like $1.05.
Yes.
We're gonna put you in some cement shoes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Sting and Goldberg warm up in silence was the best part of the show. Nash is going over his Grand Wizard costume. He's got powder to throw in the eyes, Monsel powder, I assume. He's got chloroform. He's got brass knuckles. Hall says, "Look, I feel bad. Maybe we should go apologize to Sid." They go to do that. The Nitro Girl hopeful
Oh my God.
are in the ring. The vote is tonight, so they all do a dance, and then AC Jazz arrives, tells them all to leave, says you're all wannabes, you're all skanks. She had a line here that I watched about 15 times trying to figure it out. I swear to God, I understood Meng better in that promo you played 2 weeks ago. Something she said about the household department at Kmart. I don't know what.
AC Jazz comes out. This is what happens in this segment here. AC's yelling at the girl. She tells him to get out of the ring. Spice comes out. They start arguing. AC calls her a bitch, which makes television. Spice informs us that, quote, shit is on, which makes television. They have, and I am not making this up, the worst fight I've ever seen in my life.
So horrible.
Am I wrong?
No.
Like, I am not exaggerating here. It was the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. They're two legit dancers. They're not fighters. They're not wrestlers.
No.
So they start like grabbing each other, and every time they fall down, they like fall down and land in a pose, and then get back up. I swear to God, this was the worst fight I've ever seen, ever in my life.
It was so ungodly terrible.
Thunder is booing.
The other girls come out to break it up. At this point, I wrote high on the list of worst things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm talking Jenna Maraska had some training.
Yeah.
Charmel,
They're highlights
the
from better than this.
other Survivor girls, Rebel. This was worse than any of those.
And it wasn't just the fight. AC Jazz is the worst promo ever.
I don't think I go
Kmart.
quite that far. The fight was much worse than the promo.
Promo was not emotionally charged.
Kimberly, okay, back to this shit. Jesus Christ. All right, so David Flair is stalking Kimberly backstage with a crowbar so they can beat her to death, right?
By the way, David is limping, selling the thrashing from the car.
From the car.
But that's it.
All right.
That's it. And his eyes are bugged out. It looks like he hasn't slept. His hair's all disheveled. Anyway, go ahead.
So we're in a hallway. Down the other end of the hallway is David Flair with his murder stick. We see the camera, and then to the right of the camera, we see Kimberly. We see her hiding behind a pole. David can't see her. But he can see the fucking camera. What does he think the camera's shooting? What's wrong with this idiot? She drops something metal and makes a noise.
She's trying to hide from David
Yes.
while holding a pipe.
Yeah, she's going to hit him with a pipe.
And she stands there unmoving and then just drops the pipe. Ka-dang! And he goes, ah!
Butterfinger.
And she goes, ah! And she goes to run away.
I can't
By the
believe
way,
how bad the show
she's
was.
doing this in a tiny skirt.
Of course,
But-
yes.
And stockings and high heels.
Yes.
Hey, you know what else she's doing this in? A crowded arena full of thousands of people.
Yep.
And she's hiding in the hallways alone. Go out in the building with people to hide with.
And then,
This
once
is the worst,
again,
like in the world of stupid victims in horror movies, she's the dumbest.
and then
Also the hottest.
Yeah.
David lurches after her, and they cut back to the announcers, and Tony is howling at all of this. It gets funnier to him by the moment. Man, she's in hot water.
He's gonna fucking kill her.
Dude.
That's not a quote, but okay. At this point, Brian, you watched the show a few hours before I did, so you earlier had tweeted something along the lines of, "This is one of the very worst TV shows I've ever seen." At this point, I retweeted that and said, "He's not wrong." Right after I tweeted that, 7 debuts.
Yeah.
The show got much worse. So here's the thing: we have for like a month seen Dustin Rhodes as Uncle Fester doing some weird child molester gimmick or some creeper peeking in windows and Pied Piper getting kissed a following or whatever. The whole thing has been a setup so he can come out, levitate down to the ring on cables.
No, Vinny. May I correct you for a moment? The 7 thing started before Russo came in.
Yep.
So I believe what happened is Russo did not like 7.
Okay.
And so I guess as to make good, Dustin got to do his character one time and then do a shoot promo. But he didn't want to do it.
If they were going to kill the gimmick, why did they go into all the detail of this elaborate entrance and the music and the
So he could cut a shoot
tables?
promo.
Okay.
Okay, now, the setup is terrible. The payoff to this angle has been terrible. Dustin's promo was good. I will say that. I'm a fair man.
Yeah.
Dustin's delivery here was very good. Says, "Look at this bullshit I'm wearing. I left the World Wrestling Federation because we have to say them every show. For gimmicks like this, I was Goldust and Goldust sucked. The powers that be told me Dustin sucks. They
Goldust almost ruined my career, he said.
Yeah. He was much better as the natural.
Yeah.
So the powers that be told me Dustin sucked. They just made like Uncle Fester to play trick or treat all year long. So he talked to his father, Dusty Rhodes. This company kicked him to the curb like a piece of shit, he says.
Yes.
Which also made her.
1999, everyone. Not on TNT, not South Park on Comedy Central.
I
In prime time.
I believe that Dusty wanted his job and they told him no, and so he quit.
Probably. Good. So they've disrespected his father, his family, and himself, and he's going to make their lives living hell. This was a very good promo by Dustin Rhodes.
Sure.
Sting walked for 3 seconds.
I wrote Sting running.
Maybe running.
Maybe I was fast forwarding.
David Flair found a dark room where Kimberly Page was hiding behind a copy machine. Somehow she got out. I don't know how.
Yeah.
The Outsiders go to meet with Sid. The total package says he has an idea. I'm so mad. We're not even halfway through this goddamn show.
Yeah, we have to be.
Yeah, we're close.
Sting versus Goldberg. Sting versus Goldberg as a random match in the terrible Nitro.
You know what's funny is when Sting came out to wrestle Goldberg, I thought, you know, there are always these matches I seem to remember were like really great. Like there was a great Goldberg-Sting match. Can't possibly be this one. Was it ever not this one? Let me tell you what happened in this match. Within like 10 seconds, Sting puts Goldberg in a sleeper. Like immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one thing Goldberg can't do. Sell.
Yeah.
So let's start the match by putting this fucking guy in a sleeper. So he's in a sleeper for like 5 minutes while we're waiting for Liz and Luger to come out. The ref takes a fucking bump.
At this point, as the ref goes down, Tony Schiavone says, Mickey J received a glancing blow.
A glancing blow.
He's dead.
Yes. So they drag him around the ring. They spray mace in Sting's face.
On purpose.
Goldberg does not give a shit. He spears and jackhammers Sting. He gets the pin. This was wretched. Now, what's funny is Goldberg hit one spear and the place went nuts.
Yeah.
This is so easy.
Yeah. You have Goldberg spear dudes.
Nothing is easier than Goldberg.
Yes.
Yep. The very first thing Russo did was pin Goldberg.
Of course.
Now we have a match that's all Goldberg in a sleeper and one fucking spear after someone sprayed shit in the other guy's face.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst show I've ever seen.
This went 213, by the way.
Sid is talking to the Outsiders. Rick Steiner shows up. He's mad at Sid. Lord knows why.
I have no idea why. I wrote here, what's he talking about? No one knows. Some on Thunder, I'm sure they didn't bother to tell us about.
They were partners.
Yes, they were partners, Greg.
Yeah.
Why are they mad now?
I don't know.
That's our point.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry.
Lex and Liz laugh at Hacksaw for being a janitor, and then Lex has a bright idea. Like the light bulb pops up over his head, and he steals Hacksaw's like a slippery when wet cone.
He's an idiot.
Both of them.
Okay, I got a few things to say here. I don't want to waste too much
You're
time.
gonna be more specific.
First off, you want to know why WCW died? They're paying Hacksaw Jim Duggan his salary to be the fucking janitor.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, so Luger's idea is he's going to pretend to slip and fall and sell that he's got a gimmick leg. So why are you getting rid of the slippery when wet sign, you fucking moron?
Well,
You should leave it right next to yourself when you fall down.
He did.
He did.
But
Oh, he put it somewhere else?
Yes. He had to make another wet spot instead of using the one Hacksaw made. And yes, I said that on purpose. In 5 seconds, Kimberly found a guy in security for help. It was David. She ran away. Mike Tenay interviews Vampiro and the Misfits. Vampiro was the calmest, most mellow, level-headed, laid-back, angry young punk rebel you ever saw.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't fit in. Find guys like this, or Misfits. Second round, World Championship Tournament match, Buff Bagwell versus Vampiro. So the Misfits jump Buff, like 5 of them. 5 big dudes all jump Bagwell on the aisle and beat him up, which you can do and not get punished.
Yeah, the ref just rings the bell.
Yep.
He'll be all right.
The announcers are talking about David and Kimberly. Mind games, they say, are worse than physically being abused.
Really? I was
Lie.
unaware
That's
of that.
a lie.
I was unaware of that fact.
I would rather have mind games played on me than be beaten with a crowbar. Buff fights off the Misfits. The ref gets bumped because of course he does. Berlin hits Vampiro with a chain. Why? Are Berlin and Vampiro feuding now?
I don't know, but they could hang out together. They're wearing the exact same outfits.
That's true. Exactly. You should fit in with them. Buff hits a vlog with a win at 1 minute and 21 seconds. Creative Control attacks Berlin, who is beaten up even though he has a bodyguard, because the bodyguard is not there guarding his body. He's beating up Bagwell or whatever.
You know, Marco Stunt did a bunch of promos on me on Twitter. Mind games. You know what I'm saying? He also did this.
Yeah.
Got it, Rob?
Got it.
I preferred the tweets. It's been 4 days now. The fuck's taking so long?
You been tanning?
No, my fucking chest.
Tanning. Good on Vinny.
I got a great fake tan.
There you go.
Well,
So Lex is down on the
It was
floor.
a great fake tan.
I
look like a goblin now, but it looked good on Saturday.
Lex is down on the floor next to his cone. He says, "Oh, I've blown out my knee bad.
I need some medication or something.
I need some medication for his first bots. Can I get some gimmicks?" I need some gizmos.
Bring Vicodin.
So they go to break. They come
It's one
back.
of those things where, like, Luger's hilarious.
He really is.
It's fucking terrible.
Yes.
Like, this is possible, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, the last thing Luger needs to be doing is this bullshit.
Yes. So after the break, he's on a stretcher and complaining about his knee.
Asking for Vicodin. Meds.
Okay. Bret Hart versus Saturn.
I was looking forward to this.
Bret Hart versus Perry. Hey, the wrestling they did was pretty. It had some downs. They were kind of going through the motions, but Bret Hart.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's put some fucking work into this tournament.
I don't blame you, them, but Bret Hart going through the motions is still awesome.
Yes.
So Shane Douglas is on commentary with Saturn.
He was the highlight of this damn show. I haven't always been the biggest Shane Douglas fan, but over the last month watching him on Nitro, I
No appreciation.
totally turned the corner on this guy.
Shane as a talker is awesome.
He was such a fucking great commentator, mostly because his guy was having bad things happen to him, and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, no! He's screaming.
Get up, Perry!
I was like, if this guy did commentary every Monday on Raw,
Yeah.
I'd love the show.
Yes. Now, in the middle of this, they announced that Shane and everyone else in the Revolution is banned from ringside. He's outraged, he's appalled, and then he stays there.
Well, he's doing commentary.
Why did they tell you he was banned from ringside?
Commentary's at ringside.
It's different, I guess.
I don't know what's happening.
Do you ever?
No! Asia takes the ref, Shane hits Brett with his cast, Saturn hits the DVD, Brett kicks out. I thought Saturn was going to pin Brett
I
Hart there.
swear to God, I did too.
Credit to them. I thought Perry Saturn was going to pin Bret Hart in the World Championship Tournament match. So Dean attacks Bret, Benoit attacks Dean, Saturn dives on them both. Saturn gets back to the ring. He tries a sunset flip. Bret turns into a sharpshooter for the win at 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
Wow.
Fun wrestling.
Finally something of value on the show.
Fun
And
wrestling.
Shane Douglas.
A more or less clean finish. And the right man won. And the crowd liked it.
Yes.
This is the best match in weeks on best thing in the last 2 weeks on Nitro. And it is to the back.
Boy, was it ever to the back.
Kimberly says, I need to talk to Vince Russo. Queen of Control says, no.
Yeah.
In a segment that has not aged well, Kevin Nash tries to do Karnak the Magnificent for the Johnny Carson show.
Yes. In the 70s.
When did Carson retire? Leno had already been on. For 5 years on the
Yeah.
show. So this is old when they did it.
Yes.
It's much older now.
Yes.
So the joke is, what is 316? It's the number of times The Undertaker has worked a pay-per-view main event with Austin. Hall says, is that true? Nash says, well, yeah, where you been?
Hall is a really funny guy.
Hall says, I was drunk for a year.
I was drunk for.
He was.
That's not an exaggeration.
I know.
Lex tells Elizabeth his knee hurts. She says she'll get some ice, and then she just stands there. Booker T promo. Stevie Ray got suspended. Don't know why. I don't care. Booker T is mad at the powers that be. He's mad at Jarrett. Outcome, he challenges them to a Harlem Street fight for right now.
He's actually totally confused because he's mad that Creative
Join the
Control
club.
suspended his brother. Creative Control are the two bodyguards.
Okay.
They're not suspending anybody.
We're like 2/3 of the way through the show now, by the way. So it turns into Booker T versus Creative Control and Jarrett, I guess, in a Harlem Street fight.
Nah, Jarrett's on commentary. Although he hit the ring immediately.
Yeah,
But it's a street fight, so he can.
so there's 3 of them beating him up. People were into Booker. Midnight makes her debut.
Yes.
Yet another large, muscular woman.
Yes.
China was successful. We must find 18 of them now. She hits the ring. In her debut, she hits the ring in 3 seconds. Jarrett lays her out with a guitar.
Yep.
She got waffled.
Right in the face.
Yeah. At this point, in a Harlem Street fight, the referee called for the bell for a disqualification.
Yeah.
Did you notice that when the guitar?
Well, Harlem street fights are different, Vinny. Different rule set.
They're street fights, but there's a very strict set of rules to be followed.
Yes, you must follow the rules.
We're not animals. We just fight in the streets.
Did you notice when she got hit with the guitar? You know how the guitar has the body and then it has the neck. The neck is the handle.
I'm with you.
So the guitar explodes all around her, but then the neck, the top of it,
Oh, God.
just bashes her right in the
I did
forehead.
not notice that.
Oh,
Now, this is not the worst finish in the show. This is not close to the worst finish in the show. The Outsiders meet with a SWAT team. There's some kind of jokes or fuck, I don't know. Mike Tenay tells Lex that he is facing Sid Vicious next. Lex is in a wheelchair with ice in his knee. So I cannot compete until I get an MRI.
And the best thing, they somehow found a blanket so he could put over his lap.
He's cold. He states, I have been on the cell phone with my neurosurgeon, or my surgeon. What do we call a knee surgeon? Motherfucker.
Orthoscopic surgeon.
I'm so tired.
A neurosurgeon.
Ah, hey, there you go.
Thank you.
Doctor says, no, I cannot compete until I get an MRI. So Tenay says, well, if you don't compete, you'll be out of the tournament. This is a surprise to Lex.
Yes.
A tremendous buffoon.
He says, Liz, do something about this.
Something. You're my
You're my
manager.
manager.
Lex is funny. Lex makes me laugh.
He does make me laugh. By the way, you missed several segments here. Malenko and Asia walked to the ring. Ray and Tori walked to the ring.
3 seconds.
Nash was security.
I think that's SWAT team one.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So it's Dean and Asia versus Rey Mysterio and Tori
Okay,
Wilson.
may I? It's Tori Wilson
Someday I will say no to that, by the way.
and Rey Mysterio versus Malenko and Asia, all right? Tori comes out and she is wearing her super tight short gown and her bikini top and high heels.
The same thing.
She hasn't even attempted to put on anything resembling wrestling gear.
No.
Gets in the ring. She pretends like she's going to take her skirt off. Ray goes, no, 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 no. Like, I guess he's okay.
Humping anything?
Wait a second. Like,
The doggy is.
why wouldn't he let her take her thing off? That's not the biggest issue here, Vinny. He goes, you're fine wearing that. You're not fine wearing that. He didn't even tell her to take her high heels off.
Right.
So,
I assume he was just going to wrestle the whole match by himself.
no! So she goes to the corner. Asia comes over and Asia handcuffs
Yeah.
her to the turnbuckle.
Yes.
Tori is trapped in the corner. Then the story of the match is that Ray is now in a handicap situation.
Yes.
He is beaten by both of his opponents, Asia and Dean Malenko. And then the odds are too much for Rey Mysterio. He is put in the leaf and he must submit.
Yes.
So apparently what us dumb fuck fans are supposed to think is that if Tori, in her high heels and gown,
Yes.
had not been handcuffed to the corner,
Whole different match.
a different dynamic. It's 2-on-2 now.
Fair fight.
Ray very well could have won.
She would have been there to save him.
Yes, but because she was handcuffed, the odds were too great. This was the dumbest fucking thing.
So let's recap.
I feel like I've said that 10 times on this show.
It's not a long match. It's probably a 3-minute match. I guess it's long by Nitro 99 standards. But the very first thing they did was handcuff Tori to the post, so Ray's all alone. They beat Ray 2-on-1 for 3 minutes. They beat Ray. There's a post-match beating. Finally, the filthy animals come out to clear the ring. Where the fuck have you been? This faction sucks.
By the way, Asia better with handcuffs than Liz.
Yeah. Just walked up, put him on her. Sid is walking with security guards. Kimberly finds a hot tub. Asks what she's going to do. Cries. Again, you were in an arena full of people. Go out there. David is in the shower and says something about how it's going to be more than a spanking, and she cries and runs away.
This time it'll be more than a spanking. When was there a spanking? What's he talking about?
Don't have any idea.
I gotta go back in like 6 segments. I totally forgot. The Bret Hart Saturn match. I didn't realize that was a tournament match until like everyone came out to run in and the announcers mentioned it.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a world title tournament match.
I have no idea what's a tournament match at all in this show. I'm lost.
All right, I wanted to make that in there. So this is a tournament match, I think.
Yeah, Sid versus
Yeah,
Sid
Luger.
Lex is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because if Luger doesn't wrestle, he's out of the tournament, you idiot. You just recapped that.
That's right. So Lex comes out in a wheelchair, says he's hurt. He'll be able to wrestle next week. He's trying to delay the match. Sting comes out, sends Liz to the back, pushes Lex's chair down the ring and attacks him. Throws in the ring. Sid stomping Lex. Liz hits the ring to check on Lex. Lex pulls Liz in front of him. Sid gently moves her aside. Tony is now convinced Lex's leg is legit hurt. He's selling the leg and Tony's fooled. Goldberg runs out and spears Sid, not a DQ. By the way, Sid came out with the SWAT team to protect him from Goldberg. This is important. They just spread aside. They split like the Red Sea, and Goldberg just hit the ring between them and spears Sid.
Yeah. By the way, who's the referee in this match when Goldberg is spearing one of the participants and it's not a DQ?
I'm gonna guess Nick Patrick.
Goddamn right. Staring right at him.
So then Goldberg spears Lex 2, and Goldberg's music plays as they go to commercial. There is no finish at 2:46.
Yeah, so what happened?
I don't know.
It was a tournament match. Who knows?
I think.
I gotta find out.
No,
You tell me what you think.
they said earlier, due to injury, Lex and Sting were already advancing. I don't think this was a tournament match. I think they threatened Lex with the removal of the tournament to get him to go out and wrestle this non-tournament match.
God damn, I think you're right.
Okay.
Who do you wrestle?
I only just now figured that out. I was totally baffled at the time.
Sid. Yeah, Sid was eliminated already.
Sid's out in the first round.
Yeah, he lost to Scott Hall.
So this is not a tournament.
So you're
match.
right.
I was wrong when I said it was. Like I say, I only just now figured it out hours later. Bam Bam Bigelow faced Brian Knobbs.
I'd like to add, by the way, that after that Sid versus Luger match, in all caps I wrote, one of the worst wrestling shows I have ever seen. That's where I came to that conclusion.
That's fair.
And there was more to come.
Bam Bam Bigelow versus Brian Knobbs in a hardcore match.
This finish.
The rules to a hardcore match are you can hit people with shit, and it's falls count anywhere.
That's correct, Vinny.
Falls count anywhere.
Vinny, you are correct.
Anywhere.
Vinny, you are still correct.
I need to find the old figure fours.
They brawl backstage. They're in the back. They're hitting each other with shit. 2 hours into the show, Kimberly says, "Wait, I have friends. I have big, scary friends.
Right.
They'll protect me from this geek with a crowbar." She goes up to Bam Bam Bigelow. Says, "Bam Bam, please, I need your help." Bam Bam is, of course, close with DDP. It only figures he'd be close with Kimberly as well.
Sure.
He's going to protect her. Fine.
Wish the announcers would have told me that.
So they're going to leave. And I think, okay. So they're doing no finish in a hardcore match.
Oh, you were wrong.
That's stupid. But on this show, it would have fit right in. They actually found a way to make it much worse. Because the referee watches Bam Bam Bigelow walk away and goes, "One."
By the way, they're not in the ring. They're in a loading bay.
They're backstage. It doesn't matter where.
Yards in the ring.
Right.
And the referee goes, "2." And I said, no. No, they can't be doing this. And the referee goes, 3. I'll cut to the chase. He got to 10. He counted Bam Bam Bigelow out. Bam Bam Bigelow was counted out of anywhere. He's not anywhere. He's nowhere.
Well, my presumption, Vinny, is he went somewhere.
No, somewhere, Brian. Somewhere would be anywhere.
No, that's somewhere.
No, anywhere.
Bam Bam is lost between the space-time continuum.
It's false count anywhere. If you're somewhere, you're anywhere. He went nowhere.
There's a lot to be said.
I've never been simultaneously so angry and laughing so hard. He got counted out, Brian.
He got counted
He got counted out of false count anywhere. Did I say it was anywhere?
He got counted out of nowhere.
God! These fucking morons! I'm too smart for this show. Do you understand, Brian? I have a very large brain. I'm a smart man. I can't watch this shit.
Vinny.
I have a large vocabulary. I'm good at math. I can't watch the show, Brian.
Well, I'm not good at math.
No.
God. I've been fuming about this for hours. Hours. I can't do it. I can't take this.
I just snorted.
This one's a level of stupidity that's inconceivable.
You know why I'm really pissed about it? This is their plan. This is what they wrote it down on paper. It wasn't an ad lib. It wasn't an injury where they had to improvise. This is what they wanted to do.
What do you want me to do about it?
I feel better. So Bam Bam is in fact looking for Flair. It's Bam Bam Bigelow, everyone. If you don't remember, he's 350 pounds. He's bald with flames tattooed on his head. He's a big, scary motherfucker. He's going through backstage screaming, roaring, snarling, spitting. You want to fight a girl? You can fight me! He kicks in the door. There's the most terrified woman in this room you've ever seen in your life. I don't blame her. So they updated the brackets. I did learn Sid and Lex was not a tournament match, and I forgot it in between then and now. Second round tournament match, I think.
No, it was.
Scott Hall versus Lash LaRue.
Lash LaRue. Okay. This was when we entered the third hour, which for some reason, they went from 1-minute matches, like 15 1-minute matches. Now Hall and Lash LaRue has to go like 15 minutes. And they just fucking go on, and Hall is beating him up. They give Lash like one little comeback, and then Hall wins him. And during this match, we have Tony Schiavone saying, Lash really made a name for himself here. And Bobby Heenan says, don't forget the name, people. Lash LaRue. I'm like, are you kidding me? The only fucking guy on the entire show that got pinned clean in the middle of the ring. And we're supposed to think that he made a name for himself in this fucking match?
Why does Russo love this guy?
I'm baffled.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
He's so...
Generic?
Like, I don't want to... I'm sure he was trying his best.
Sure
I don't think
he
he's a bad
was.
person. He's just so... he's so untalented.
He's not very good.
There are many, many guys with more potential than Lash in this show. Now, this is all beside the point, as far as I'm concerned. 20 minutes ago, the SWAT team that was out there to protect Sid from Goldberg stepped aside and let Goldberg hit the ring. The outsiders come to the ring with the exact same SWAT team to protect them from Goldberg. What's wrong with these dipshits? Didn't they see what happened last time? So Hall wins, by the way, 6 minutes, 15 seconds. Time of the match. So all the Riot Squad leave except one guy. I'm sure you can all see where this is going. Nash prepares to throw Wizard in his face as he's wearing a Riot helmet with a
Is he
shield.
gonna throw a wizard in his face?
Powder.
Thank you.
You said Wizard.
I did. I'm not that smart.
After all that ranting, you realize you're not that smart?
I'm not that smart. The Riot Squad guy has a helmet on. I guess Nash was going to throw the powder into the screen, but it's Goldberg. He tears his helmet off. He spears them both, and that's that. Second round tournament match, Kurt Hennig versus Jeff Jarrett.
I hate this angle.
It's really awful.
The storyline, who is that? Is that you, Rob?
Everyone look at Rob.
Yeah. The storyline here is that if Kurt Hennig gets pinned, he must retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can lose, but he can't get pinned.
For why?
I don't know.
If you don't like the guy, if he loses, he's out of here.
Right, just fucking fire him.
Thank you.
Don't even wait for him to lose.
This fucking idiot comes out. They do a match. Creative Control beats up Hennig right in front of the referee. They slam him through a table. Hennig is smart enough to just lay there. He gets counted out. Therefore, he can remain employed.
Creative Control was trying to drag him to push him back.
Yes.
Hennig actually grabbed the mat
Yes.
to hold on so he would get counted out.
When it happened live, I actually thought that they were beating him, and the ref was just letting them beat him and count him out. I didn't realize, in fact, they were trying to get him into the ring. He was trying to resist going back into the ring, and then when he got counted out, they were
celebrated.
frustrated. He was happy.
Yeah.
Happy he lost.
In storyline, these writers have given their word, and they can't go back on their own stipulation, even though they're complete assholes to everybody. And then Bobby Heenan says, and I quote, "We'll be right back with something. I don't know."
It's a quote.
That is exactly what he said.
That is a quote. This all went 5 minutes, 17 seconds, by the way. For that,
Yeah.
Kimberly walks. That's what I wrote. After the break, Kimberly comes out for a promo. She says, "I'm out here to call out David so everyone can see what he will do to me." Okay, she has witnesses. Good for her. David comes out. It is a trap. Bam Bam jumps in from behind, but David hits a nut shot, hits a crowbar shot. Now Kim must flee through the crowd, and David goes after her.
Yeah, the announcers were here talking about how Kimberly set him up, like she's the heel.
I don't know.
She goes to jump the rail. Fans have to help her over. This was so bad.
We go to the parking lot where David is stalking Kimberly, and Kimberly runs to her car and opens it and gets in and tries to drive away. Why didn't you do that hours ago? Why have we wasting our time with this bullshit when you could have just gone home?
Maybe she didn't have keys with her in this tiny dress.
Where'd she get the damn keys then?
I don't know.
For that matter, why does she even come to work today if she's this afraid of David Flair? David jumps in the car. He starts breaking the windows with the crowbar. Creative Control says, "Hey!" He runs away. Help her out of the car and take her backstage.
Yeah, I said,
To which point Bobby, very concerned, says, "She's not used to being in the front seat." You think I'm kidding?
No, you're not. The ladder match.
the Creative Control guys grabbed her and said, he'll see you now.
Yeah.
So they're going to actually go talk to Russo.
A ladder match for what I guess is the vacant U.S. title, which is the four guys who have a claim to it: Goldberg, Brett, Sid, and Hall. Tony Schiavone is trying his best to recap everything that has happened in the show, and he sounds like he's singing "I Am the Walrus." I am he, and they, and we, and they, and he, and I. So they all start fighting even before everyone's in the ring. There's no ref, because you recall, there's going to be a special referee in this match. So the four dudes are in the ring fighting. Who should come out in a referee shirt with Kevin Nash? About Kevin Nash. He's carrying a ladder. He is accompanied by the Riot Squad, which has turned on people twice tonight.
Yeah.
Everyone on the show is a goddamn moron. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Everyone on the show is a hateable goddamn moron.
The announcers tell us, by the way, the powers that be have signed a
Yes.
big match for Mayhem.
Oh, have they now?
David Flair will be facing Kimberly at WCW Mayhem. They are excited for this match. That's going to be something else, they say.
Why would Kimberly go to Mayhem?
I don't.
Why wouldn't she? I'm sure he would.
He must have a plan.
I guess. I would stay home. I'm sure they're a very low.
Let's talk about this awesome finish and get it over with. They're having this stupid match. Bret Hart climbs the ladder. Bret Hart gets the U.S. belt, which I believe he was the champion.
Yeah.
Going this
Technically,
match.
yes.
He grabs it, but Nash, the referee, hits him with a pipe.
Maybe
Bret drops the belt. Nash grabs the belt.
Were you thinking they were going to make Nash the U.S. champion now?
Yes, of course.
That's what I thought the finish was going to be as well.
Instead, Nash stands up and he holds the belt over his head, and Hall pretends to climb the ladder 2 rungs. Nash hands him the belt. Hall does an overdramatic fall off the ladder. He wins in a comedy spot. Who assigned Nash?
Oh, to be the ref?
Yes.
I guess the powers that be. I assume.
So anyway, when he grabbed that thing and fell off the second rung of the ladder, like he was falling off the Empire State Building, and that was the finish to this, that was when I concluded this was the worst wrestling show I've ever seen in my
Took
life.
you that long?
So,
Yeah, it actually did, because that was the main event.
It was a fitting finish.
If Ben won, Brett had a great match and somebody won a title, maybe I wouldn't think that. But that was the final main event right there.
so Scott Hall wins in that manner, as Brian has described. And Tony says, Scott Hall is now a legitimate U.S. champ. He is?
Yeah.
I want to read, it's brief, I want to read exactly what I wrote here when this is over. This was one of the worst wrestling shows I ever saw. One of the worst TV shows I ever saw. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Tony calls it an entertaining show and asks what Thunder will be like. Hell, Heenan replies. Indeed.
Yep. Vinny, would you like me to play your music?
I can't wait. Not really, but it'll get me done, so let's go. The finishes on this show were pin after hockey stick attack, DQ due to run-in, pin after attack with a pop of cement, pin after mace, pin after chain, DQ in a Harlem street fight, submission in a tag match where one person was handcuffed in the corner, no finish due to run-in, count out in a false count anywhere match, clean pin, count out after and during interference, and they win thanks to a cricket referee in a ladder match.
There were 12 matches on that show.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I should have the dots on the bar. There's
Yes. I should have
Morse code. That's a better example.
I should have counted how many segments